It's Mr. Van Dong again. This is week 4, day 2 of our distance learning for math instruction, and we are going to be on page 871 in your My Math book today. We're doing something very similar to yesterday in practice, except today we're converting units of mass. Remember that mass is how much of something there is. It's a little bit different than weight because your weight changes depending on the planet you're on and things like that. So we're talking about how much of something there is. Now, mass and weight on Earth, they're the same. Hooray! So you can think of it as weight as long as you're on Earth. So let's go ahead and just dive right in and read their example problems and use our King Henry method to solve them, just like yesterday. So we've got a white-tailed deer that has a mass of 136 kilograms. What is the mass of the deer in grams? So we've got 136 kilograms. And we're trying to convert it to grams. Well, to do that, I need to know that King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. And I need to point at where I start. I'm starting at kilograms. I'm starting at the K. And then I need to get to grams, which is the base unit, right? So the U for the base unit. So it goes 1, 2, 3 times to the right. Okay. I just need to shift the invisible decimal 3 times to the right. Just like yesterday, I'm going to copy down 136 underneath it because the decimal is shifting to the right to make sure I don't make a silly error by trying to overlap my work on the kilograms. So 1, 2, 3, there it is. Annex the zeros into those missing places. It's 136,000 grams. That deer weighs 136,000 grams. Cool. That's how that works. All right, continuing on. This is pretty familiar. You can see why the metric system is so slick, I hope. Oh, by the way, they've got cool little illustrations here to try to help us understand about what would weigh a kilogram, what would weigh a gram, what would be a milligram. And awesome, look at those. Try to get a better understanding. Again, the reason why we don't just instinctively already know or intuitively already know about how big these measurements are is only because you didn't grow up using them. To you, if I say, somebody's 7 feet tall, you're like, whoa, that's really tall. But if I say that to somebody in like almost any other country in the entire world, they'll be like, 7 feet? That's short? That's super tall? I don't know. How many meters tall is the person? So remember that sometimes you can think, I don't know what these things are. And it's just because you haven't practiced using them. And that's all it is. The more you use them, the more familiar you'll be with them. And one day maybe will be like the rest of the world and use the metric system. One can hope. Okay, so next, convert 1,500 grams to kilograms. So we've got 1,500 grams, and we're going to convert it to kilograms. So I'm going to point at where I'm starting, which is the base unit of grams. I'm going to kilograms, which is 1, 2, 3 times to the left. So here's where my decimal is. It needs to shift once, twice, thrice to the left for a final answer of 1 5/10 of a gram, or 1 1/2 grams. So 1.5, 1 5/10. Mr. Van Dong, I put my zeros here. Okay, that's fine. You don't need to, right? Like I could put an infinite number of zeros there. It doesn't change the value of the number. It only changes the way that we pronounce it. This number would technically be pronounced 1 500,000 instead of 1 5/10. So it changes the way we pronounce it if we include those zeros there. The zeros don't need to be there. You can drop them off like that. So 1 5/10. Okay, like yesterday, just start in on the guided practice. So you've got the guided practice problems to do. You've got these, there's comparisons. It's just like yesterday, you're doing the back page as well. You need to show your work by writing down probably at the top of the page, KHDUDCM, so that you can keep track of the way that things are moving, and then show your work on individual problems by drawing the decimal if it's not there already and showing the way that it shifts. That's how you do that. I didn't say this yesterday, but I'll say it today. For any problem, if you're watching this, and I'm assuming you have access to Google, you can check your work if you're not sure if you got something right or wrong by just typing the problem into Google, especially for conversion stuff. Mr. Van Dong, couldn't we just do all the problems like that? I mean, yeah, if you hated learning, I guess you could. I really hope you don't, though. That would be kind of lame. Anyway, that's another philosophical discussion for a different time. So please do your work using this same method. If you're confused about any of it, you can always reach out to your homeroom teacher, or you can Google it, or ask a parent or other people in your household who know things about converting. That's what I got. Have a good one. If you finish early, just move on. And if you've been working for 45 minutes minus the length of this video, then stop and move on. So have a good one, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.